Welcome back to Light Talk, where everyday people can tell their spiritual journey stories of their own authentic self and their own unique experiences with the metaphysical world. She's killing me. If you have your own unique stories, I would love to chat with you. Please email lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you are at it, please click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Now, let's get started. Let's start the party. I'm excited to let's now let's get our get to know our guest today. She's excited to be here. I'm excited to be with her. It's going to be awesome. So go ahead, tell us a little about yourself and let's hear your unique story.
My unique story. So, hi, I'm Stephanie. Just to introduce myself, I am a lifelong intuitive psychic and all that wonderful jazz that comes along with it. My spiritual journey really started really back in 2016 when the veil really lifted for me. And I just wanted to let all your beautiful followers that are watching, I am on a yoga ball. So, all seem kind of moving around, but that's really what it is. And I highly recommend them for you. It's really wonderful. So it just kind of helps to keep the flow going. So back to my wonderful, unique little story. I growing up, I always played with tarot cards and having an idea of that and loving that spiritual side, and always drawn to crystals and stuff like that. And like I said, my real awakening to where the veil really lifted was back in 2016. I'll dive a little bit into that. I was in a really, really dark, heavy space to where I hit a real suicidal spot. And I managed to make it through. And that's really when it was incredible. It was really like a black veil was really lifted. And it really opened my eyes to so many different things to where I was really able to truly see and hear people on the other side. And that's when the whole awesome journey started to get into classes, and really diving deep more into, getting to know me, my gifts, what I was able to receive, what I was able to give, along this beautiful journey, discovering more about yourself and really going down that path. It's really been able to open up so many other doors for me, and being in touch with yourself really helps you to open other doors to the other world, to the other realms that are around us. I mean, goodness, I see so many different things. I talk to plants, I talk to rocks, I talk to everything. It's really great. So like I'll be carrying on conversations like everywhere, and people are like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good." But
It's
like
okay.
spiritual people will understand because we just talk to everything. Like we
Yeah.
so it's like, all right, if you don't understand, if you don't know, it's okay.
Yeah.
Um, so along that journey, and again, where really tapping into mediumship really, really came through. So connecting with people on the other side who have passed has been such a beautiful journey. I've been able to connect with them. I am able to hear them. I'm able to see them. I'm able to, experience really in some ways what they've experienced. I've been able to do psychometry where you actually are able to handle items that a person has and be able to connect with them that way. So just impressive. It's amazing. And to be able to help someone like really bridge that gap from like being here like in the physical to being able to connect with that person on the other side. um I usually get animals a lot. Usually if people are sitting with me, cats love to come and like rub up against me and kind of meow and go in between feet and like sit down. And I think, Dana, when you and I were speaking, I ended up seeing your little pup come over and like sit down. I'm like, you got a pup that likes to sit like right next to your chair, and you're like, so I love being able to give like that type of message to like who I'm connecting with. And lately myself, I had two dachshunds. My youngest one, unfortunately, I lost a year ago in November, and he's actually been kind of coming around. And every now and then, like I'll see him kind of walk across, and I'm like, oh, you got to do a double take because he does it so quick that you don't really see it. You're like, wait a minute, was that really you? Or being able to like,
Exactly.
yeah, or
Yeah.
being able to like feel
Yeah.
his presence and stuff like that. So it's been a really wonderful journey. Again, being able to, the deeper I dive into myself, and embody more of me, more authentic part of me, I'm able to really expand more of like myself and be able to expand outside of who I am. And again, to connect with all these beautiful things. And like I said, I've seen my little furry munchkin. Um, there's been times where actually a couple weeks ago, I had an apparition that actually came to my house. He followed me home one night and I was coming in quickly from my house and I was turning up the heat and all of a sudden he walks out my bathroom, looks at me and goes, "Hey," and walks off. I'm going, and he was actually fairly close. Like he was like arm's length away from me. And usually when I've experienced that, they've usually been like on the other side of the room. So I was like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" Like, "Hi." I'm like, "You're coming out the bathroom." I'm like, "What's going on? How's it happening?" And he, like full-fledged, like he was like standing right here in front of me, and I'm going, okay, that okay." And I'm
Just
just
be nice to me.
yeah, I'm like, well, like I'm in a different space because I'm just getting home. I had to take my other dachshund who I still have. And I'm grateful for him still being here. I had to take him out to pee. So I'm like, that happened. And I'm like, I can't focus on that right now. I gotta go take care of him. And then I come back in and of course I like big mama protective bear. All right, let's go. I'm like, why are you in my house? What's going on? If you're not here, for the best and highest good, you need to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to set you on fire, but that's a whole nother story. So, just kind of get in that spot. And then, you kind of come back and you're like, oh, okay, this person was, here to help me and, to be able to, allow me to remember that I do have that vision, that I am able to connect to the other side, that I do, I am able to see that it's not just, a 3D type thing that we're here,
Right.
that, we're multidimensional and being able to see other things. A few other times, like when I'm connecting with some people, and mediumship, I will just say, is not one of my stronger gifts. So when people come through, they definitely come through for me for the most part. A lot of women I usually who come through to give messages, they love to give me pie. Yeah. So there are some pies that I absolutely love, and there are others that I'm like, I really don't want to eat that, but I don't want to like disrespect you. So it's okay, I'll try it. I'll try it. So I get a lot of baked goods. So a lot of times I'll be like, oh, this tastes like cherry pie, and it'll click for someone. So I'm grateful for like the positive foods that I get. And sometimes like I'll even get the smell, and that just I'm like, oh my God, that's not even right. And then I'll sit there and cry for like a week, and I'm like, really? I'm like, oh
No pie, not that pie. Don't give that pie. No,
no.
just don't do
I
it.
can get the pies. I don't mind like even the cookies that they like to give me and stuff like that. The one thing that kind of really gets me is more of like when I get like the smoke, or like when someone used to smoke like a pipe or a cigarette or like a cigar, and I'm like going, oh,
Ugh, yeah,
ooh. I'm like, I love you. I send love to you, but can you give me something other than smoke? But it's
yeah.
not meant for me. It's meant for them. I'm just the vessel. So,
I
um,
had that once,
yeah.
the smell of my uncle's cigarettes, and I actually turned her over to my son that was sitting next to me and smelled them, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I just smelled cigarettes." He goes, "Mom, I'm not smoking." I'm like, I'm sorry, but I did. I smelled smoke."
I gotta just make sure it's a mother thing just to
It
keep
is.
going. Yeah, I feel that. I totally
Yeah,
feel that.
yeah,
Um, and it's such a beautiful thing to be able to witness that. And again,
uh huh.
I'm so grateful for, the gifts that I do have and being able to see it. And for instance, there was like another time, this was I think 2017, somewhere around there, to where I was actually living with an ex-boyfriend, and where he was staying there was a very Jebediah who was very not a happy apparition. Actually he ended up killing his wife and the two kids
Ooh,
on the property, like in the house, not where we were actually staying, because where my ex actually lived was in like the carriage house, and it was built into like apartments. And so the main house where, the whoever owned the property actually lived, like that's where the person ended up actually unfortunately murdering his family. So, I was fortunate enough to, whenever I would go over to my ex's house, I would always bring my dogs. And of course, like the kids that were, the children that were crossed over would actually come into our apartment and play with my dogs.
Oh, nice.
Little boy, little girl. Oh, it was so cute. It was absolutely so cute. And I'm like, this is really kind of weird. And the woman was beautiful. She was really sweet. She would come over as well. It was really funny because she kept kind of pointing. She's like, my necklace is in there. You need to get it. And of course, it's like arm's length through a cement wall. And I'm like, I can't get it. I'm
Uh,
sorry. I'm like, I'd love to, but so
I'm 3D.
yeah. Walls like that is what I'd like to. Maybe that's like the next phase that's going to happen. So it was really kind of interesting that way. Again, like the children were really lovely. She was really wonderful, very sweet. There were times that she would actually come and hide from like the husband. And I remember one night laying in my ex's bed with him. And I remember like we always had the door closed, and for some reason like the door ended up opening and he legit was standing in the doorway looking at me with like a shotgun, and I'm going, um yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm like, honey, and he's spiritual as well, and
Okay.
he was able to see, but I don't believe to the clarity that I was able to. Different levels. He was very earthbound, or more earth energy, I should say, where I feel I have more of a range, and just how different people are.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, honey, the dude is kind of here. He's standing in your doorway with a shotgun and he's pissed. Oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, full fledged. He had overalls, the shotgun, like gnarly teeth, and he like a farmer's hat. He was not a pleasant dude. Yeah, I'm grateful that like there really wasn't any harm that he could cause, or at least that we could feel, which I'm very pleased about.
Mhm.
So yeah, he was pretty gnarly to deal with, and definitely very shocking when he really kind of like appeared out of nowhere. Like I could feel him every now and then, and I got a little bit of a glimpse, like especially like looking up at the house, I could see him in the window. I'm going, I hope I never run into you, dude, because it's just not going to be pretty. So he decided to make a full frontal and come out, kind of in front of me. And I'm going, oh God, okay. Just breathe. You're going to be okay. Just breathe. You're going to be okay. Yeah, I'm done playing with you. I'm going over here. I'm going to go play in my own sandbox. So
Yeah, yeah. Time for you to go to your room and
yeah,
play.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, don't let me set the fire to the house. I don't want to set fire to the house. It's not gonna be fun. But
No, 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 no.
and when I mean fire, I do not mean like a literal fire, please. I don't want to think that I'm a fire starter or anything like that. No. I mean in just like a metaphysical sense, and being able to, control fire and stuff like that. And it's a neat thing that you can learn how to do. Another wonderful time that I was able to connect with an apparition is again with the same ex-boyfriend. He had borrowed this beautiful like native drum, and not necessarily like Native American, but more native like African. And one night I was writing in a journal in my ex's living room, and just nice dim light, getting ready for bed, just kind of settling in. And then all of a sudden I look up and there is this beautiful African American man standing in his living room in like the old school, like towel, not towel, but like the cloth around the waist, like
Mhm.
um, maybe an Aborigines.
Okay.
Again, please excuse me. I'm trying to be as like politically correct or try to explain as
It's
best as
so hard. It's
I can't
so
imagine.
hard.
I'm like, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but like
Right.
this is
I'm the
literally
same
what I saw.
way.
Like I saw the spear and everything, and
Uh-huh.
the different. kind of tattoos on him. Again, very pleasant, didn't come across as any harming or anything like that. But I could tell that he was definitely connected to the drum that my ex had borrowed. And I'm like, this is really kind of cool. And I'm like, this is nice. And again, the last two were always, whenever I've seen apparitions, they've always kind of been like on the other side of the room versus like arm's length. So I'm like, oh, you guys are getting more daring with me and coming into my space. Okay, this is a new thing for, yeah, okay. Thanks for helping me out of my comfort zone with y'all, but
And go back
yeah,
to your own comfort zone.
yeah,
Keep my bubble. I've
yeah,
got
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
bubble.
I'm like a 3 foot bubble, unless you're a happy dog or a nice kitty. Yeah, y'all can stay out here. So it's been a trip for sure. And the one song that always kind of plays, or always the lyrics, and it's a Grateful Dead song, and it's what a long strange trip it's been. And it's almost like that lyric just really kind of covers my life, and it really has been just an interesting journey. And I've done my best to learn to ebb and flow with my gifts. And not every day I see apparitions and anything else along those lines, but when they do come, it's like, oh, it's kind of a big shock, and you're like, oh yes, that's kind of cool, yes, I can still see. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
I forgot I
So,
had
do
this
you
here.
talk to them? Have you been able to have a conversation with them?
um The angry apparition, Jebediah, I would yell at him. I would put him in his place. I'm like, you are not going to come in here and try and intimidate me. Not going to happen. This is not your century. This is very, very different now. I am not afraid of you. Of course, after like the initial shock of seeing him, and again, where my ex couldn't really see him, he could feel him more versus seeing him. So when I actually saw him, he's like, oh, okay. But I would always tell him, I'm like, you're not welcome here. You are not welcome in this space, not when I'm here. You can come around any other time except when I'm here. So I was very much the brute force, I think, when it came to him. Um, I do try and talk to them whenever best I can. I do my best to, really kind of let them know, or when I'm connecting with any of them, I'm like, do me a favor, don't scare me,
Yeah.
because I go into fight mode, and I don't care who you are, whatever, I'm going into protective mode, and I will burn you. I will set you on fire. I have no problem doing that. But if you come to me in a way approachable way, and allow me to get used to like your feeling, your essence, your vibration, full-fledged conversation, I have no problem with that. I will more than happy to talk to you. I want to know about you. I want to be able to help you find out, why are you here? Are you here, connecting with me because I'm meant to help someone else that I'm, going to connect with soon? Or, is it just a beautiful thing that you're just coming in, checking in and say hi and being like, okay, I'm peacing out now that I've been seen or whatnot.
Yeah.
I did for a little bit actually study rescue mediumship. And what that is from my understanding and what I've been taught, it's when a soul is actually kind of trapped here on this plane, and not able to, like, they didn't go into that white light, that for some reason there's still part of their trauma that's still here, that's captured them. Again, this is just one theory, one thought, one feeling. I know that there are some people that are like, oh, there's no such thing as rescue mediumship. My experience, everybody has different experiences, and
Exactly.
what
Exactly.
we're
They
shared
do.
with, and yeah, and
Yeah.
everything along those lines. So, the experiences that I've been able to have and been able to connect with, and the Isle of Shoals. So I'm up in New Hampshire, and the Isle of Shoals is off Portsmouth. You have to take a ship to it, cute little island. And there were definitely a few souls that we were able to connect with and feel. And some were just like a residual. And then there were actually, like, I think 2 or 3 that we were really able to help, and, help them cross over. And I mean, there's times where I've run into like a gentleman who's been stuck here, and he won't even talk to me. And I'm like,
So he's
okay.
not ready to move on. He just wants to stay
Not,
here. Or
well, not ready to speak to a female.
oh,
I have run into that, to where they're like, you're a woman, I won't talk to you.
Oh,
Yeah. Have to remember different times.
yeah,
Very, very much different times. And
very
one
much.
gentleman who did not want to speak to me was in the military, and he had a very shocking end. And he was like, I'm not talking to you. You're, like I said, you're a woman and you don't know what's going on and you don't know blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So thankfully, we had another male in our group who went, and he was the one that ended up talking to him and helping him to understand. While, I think there was like me, the teacher, and I think one or two other women that was with us. So we helped, in other ways and whatnot. So it's a great experience. It's an absolute trip for sure. Um, what really, and I know I'm kind of scrolling and yet going in a circle for you. Honestly, what I recommend for anybody who's like really starting on their journey, I took a couple of psychic development courses. That's really how I developed more of my skills, because I was more aware of, what exactly everything was, and learning about the different clairs and you know, um, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling. So it's just, yeah, just indulge. And, if you're on your spiritual journey and you're just starting, my best advice, because you're going to want to scroll on everything.
That's me.
My most best and humblest advice is, you want to try everything, but my best suggestion is to really sit with yourself and see what really, what pulls you, what direction do you really feel like going in? Like, again, for me, it was really psychic development and developing more like of my clairs and being able to, kind of connect to the other side. Um, Again, where that's not a super strong suit for me, it definitely helps me to understand more. And again, the more work that you do with yourself and the deeper dive that you do helps you to understand and open up more to what's around you. And I did the same thing. I scrolled on everything. I took Reiki, so I'm a Usui practitioner too. I'm a Kundalini Reiki master teacher. And like, again, I've done psychic development, 1 and 2, and all these beautiful things. And I'm like, you get so burnt out. That's the problem. So being able to kind of come back in and really be like, okay, where's my joy in this? What lights me up? And when you start to really dive into what lights you up, that's where your beautiful little red ribbon, or, I always call it a rabbit hole, go down it and go as far as you can with it until either you get to the end of it and you're like, okay, I'm done here. Or, you're like, all right, I'm done. You come back out the rabbit hole and you go find something else. If you've got your eye on 12 things, break it down into a group of 3 each and go down each rabbit hole. I'm doing that kind of myself, not only in my spiritual journey, but also in like my life path as well. I started on weird different adventures, and here I am, working with 2 different colleges as an art model, and like I think 5 different studios I work with as well. And it's so interesting to see how that has evolved just because I followed a joy. As far as my beautiful spiritual journey, again, it's following that joy. And the deeper that I have dived into myself and my personal healing, I have noticed transforms and transmutes into when I sit with people. So again, I do psychic fairs. I love connecting at psychic fairs, not only for, the energy and the vibe and, the different people that you meet, the networking, but also to the people that come and sit with me and who I'm able to help shift them. I used to be strictly, oh, these are, I got to use my tarot cards and I got to use my oracle cards and blah, 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 blah. And then again, everything started to evolve. 2020, I kind of like called it quits, and I'm like, I'm done with my spiritual side. Like I'm good. I'm stepping totally away from this. This isn't me anymore. And that's when I started to do like my own personal healing journey. And 2021, what year are we in? 2024?
We're 4. Yeah.
I don't even remember anymore.
I know. It's what month? I mean, the month
Yeah,
is what gets me.
oh, it's crazy. So yeah, so like I want to say like 2021, 2022 is when I really started to kind of step back into, the metaphysical world and on that journey and whatever. It's been beautiful. I have noticed again how things have shifted. Like I basically don't sit with people anymore to read them cards. Like my conversations and how my gift has really evolved is I'm more of an energy reader now. Like I connect with you, I talk to you, I, feel out how you are, where you feel like you're stuck. I want you to be able to find your joy again and be able to find a full, loving life. And a lot of, again, beautiful souls that have been coming to me have either experienced, you know, the same trauma or something very similar to what I have personally experienced, whether it's from family, whether it's from, ex people in your life, ex experiences. Like I really have no ill will against it, any exes that I have, even though I probably should. But you know what? I send them so much love. Good luck. Thank you so very much for the lesson. Um, yeah. So I wish them well because you know what? I'm in the best space in my life currently, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely adore it. Yes, there are definitely days where I hate it, but you got to learn to ebb and flow with it,
Yeah, you have the good and the bad, and every day is like that. And we're human too, and
Yes.
we have the ego to set us back in our place. So
Oh, yeah. And you look at your bill going, oh man, I gotta pay that again.
my
Man, come on. Universe, help me out. Give me like $1 million. It'll work this way. And it's like, yeah, no, no, love, no. And they're like, can you give me the lotto numbers? I'm like, honey, if I had the lotto numbers, do you really think I'd be sitting here? Right? Or I'd be like, I'd have a whole slew of like dogs and it'd be great and everything else along those lines. So, don't be afraid to step into, your spiritual side and just really embrace you. And especially again, where, so many people are coming awake now
yeah,
in
yeah,
right now because we need it.
yeah.
Our world is in such chaos that so many more souls are waking up and understanding more of it. And we need to be here to help heal the world.
That's right, and
So,
that's a good thing to end on.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah. Like we're here to bring the light. So understand that like no matter what you have been through, you are still standing here today, alive, well, and thriving.
Yeah,
Coming from someone who's been, living with severe PTSD and, a few other things to being a 9-time failed suicide survivor. I'm
yeah.
here because I am meant to help those that need the help. And for anybody who's struggling, please reach out. There's always help. You're not here alone. There's always someone who's here to help you.
Yep, and you heard it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
So we'll put all of her information in the notes below. So if you or anybody you know has any stories similar to this or any other metaphysical stories, please contact me and let's get together. Let's get you on the show. And email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And let's talk, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.